the olden day was Shiadawita, one angry pagan here. Well, I have some things to say. And this, okay, this video, as you probably see by the title, is centered around two words: copium and hopium. And in a display, I hope, of honesty here, I would say that I have been partaking of the latter, a bit of the hopium. So, what do I mean by both? So, copium, well, we'll just have a look. You know, I know what I mean by, you know, but we'll have a look at code. So, copium. Internet slang, neologism, derogatory humours, a fictional metaphorical opiate taken in order to cope when someone is faced with loss. Now, I'm not sure hopium comes under that. Let's have a look. No, it's a car. I'm not on about a car when I talk about hopium. Let me see if I can. Clinging to unreasonable or unfounded hopes. There you go. So, I've been partaking a bit of the latter, and as we can see, both can be destructive. So, let's take a look. Let's take a deep dive on this. So, copium. On the copium side, we've got a lot of it is the Brexiteers and the Tories that are coping with the fact they were dead wrong. I mean, we all told them they were dead wrong, but you know, you got in America, you got Trump with his copium trying to cope, and the MAGA supporters trying to cope with the fact that he's been found out as a bullshitting liar and a fucking fascist. You've even got copium on the left, fucking tankies. Oh no, Putin's doing this because he was antagonised by the West. Fuck off. Come down off your copium. It's like they're trying to cope with the fact that Russia's no longer a socialist country, which I reckon it was only socialist nominally. Now, on the other side of that, you've got the hopium, and I think that is being displayed through such things like those on the left who just want to get the Tories out. It's just explicitly talking about the UK here, and are hoping that Starmer is not what he is displaying, if that makes sense. There are many who, especially who were brought into politics by Corbyn, who are, Corbyn woke up a lot. One of my opinions one of my biggest opinions on Corbyn is that he was important in Britain anyway, to wake up the left. I think he did that, but because he's done that and is now, he's now gone. He's been completely ousted. We on the left now we've been woken up. We're now like we've kind of split. So you've got those on the left who are copium, trying to cope with the fact that they've lost, Corbyn, and don't know what to do next. And then you've got the Hopiates, who are just hoping that Starmer is only saying what he's saying to get into power. Neither of these are ideal. Neither of them. Like I said, I've been a bit of a hopiate. I'll freely admit that, and I think I'm going to continue to be, just a little bit, because I really, 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 really don't want to see the Tories take power again. It's at this point, it's like 90% there that Labour are going to be the next party to take government. But I'm still, a part of me, this is why I'll listen. I'll still listen whilst I'm a member. I'm a Labour Party member, a Labour Social member. A lot of what Phil from Different Bias says, I tend to agree with. I will watch others like Big Madge, and Truth to Power, who taken a different line, because I think taking both views in balance and kind of trying, I just don't want to see the left fracture when, well, I say that, I keep having people telling me that Starmer's on the right, and he's not. At least I don't see it. I mean, there are people who, I think Big Madge was talking about how. Sorry about that. Big Madge, I think, was talking about how Labour still wants to go ahead with deregulating the financial sector in London. Okay. I want to see other opinions on that. I want to see more data on it. So, hang on a minute. Let's have a look. Labour Party on deregulation. Look, Labour Party on deregulation of London's financial sector. Okay, so this was from last year in the Guardian. Can't see. Just talking about what the Tories wanted to do. What is mildly reassuring is that the group of cross-party MPs tasked with overseeing the new regulatory framework is determined not to be pushed into supporting a race to the bottom. The government relentlessly pushing a light touch agenda could eventually be successful because, let's face it, finance is still the main game in town. Okay. Okay, that didn't say shit. Labour must Labour list. Labour must realise a deregulated banking sector undermined its mission. Okay. Whilst households are hit with stagnant wages and inflation, the City of London is dishing out big bonuses again and ramping up pay. While they do have a reason to celebrate, the onshoring of financial services regulation post-Brexit is giving them a chance to push a deregulatory agenda and reintroduce the competitive objective to regulators. We only have to turn the clock back 14 years to see what competitive finance sector objective does to our economy, and in the words of Andrew Bailey, the then CEO of Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA, and now Governor of Bank of England, it didn't end well for anyone. Think collateralized debt obligations, money laundering, and excessive risk-taking. Despite the warnings about this move from regulators, the Treasury Select Committee and Civil Society Labour has been supportive, with Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves stating that she was in favour of the competitiveness objective at City UK's conference. Why? I'll back Madge here. What the fuck is this about? The Shadow Business Secretary has supported the insurance sector's drive to use the onshoring of EU regulation like Solvency II as an opportunity to slash the amount of capital insurers have to hold, allowing them to increase their profits. Again, this perspective is at odds with the regulators, the Financial Times, and others who want a more balanced approach that doesn't allow for so much risk-taking with other people's money. It's important to remember that the last financial crash led to Labour's 2010 defeat. When I was door knocking in 2019 election, who's this? Fran White. I was surprised by how many felt that they couldn't trust Labour because of the 2008 crash. We already have an incredibly fragile economy, with consumer credit at 17-year high as low-income households get deeper into debt just to cover essentials. This will only get worse if energy costs continue to rise, as only 1 in 10 households have any disposable income. If financial institutions are allowed to pile ever more expensive debt on struggling households and small businesses, we will see a wave of insolvencies, potentially a deep and long-lasting recession that exacerbates inequality, and more families going cold and hungry. It should be a warning sign to Labour that the regulators are not happy about the city pushing its agenda so aggressively. Last week, senior executives in the city were furiously briefing against the regulators, deploring them for essentially doing their job. What? Saying things like the slowness and caution are not helping the industry at all. So even the financial sector doesn't like this. Why the fuck would Rachel Reeves back it? This does shake me a bit, I have to admit. I was already not entirely happy with Starmer and his front bench, but this, I don't think any amount of Hopium is gonna block this shit out. Clearly, an industry going on an offensive to attack their regulators in the press should be treated with caution, but finance lobbyists are well practiced at developing false narratives. usually about their industry's importance. Banks claim to be helping vulnerable customers by keeping branches open during the pandemic while simultaneously undertaking the biggest bank closure scheme ever. Yeah, I was so pissed off when I found that happening. Like, there's not even any fucking, you know, for me to get a bank, I've got to go to either Plymouth or Exeter because I'm a co-op. Ridiculous. They present themselves as a solution to environmental breakdown whilst continuing to pour tens of billions of pounds into fossil fuels. They claim to provide investment which creates jobs across the country, but in reality less than 5% of bank lending is to small and medium-sized businesses, and they have a track record of pushing small businesses into insolvency. When Labour gets into power, the Treasury will be inundated with big finance lobbyists pushing their agenda with myths about their own importance. The finance sector is by far the most powerful interest group in the UK with direct financial ties, lobbying access, and the revolving door it maintains with the public sector. Okay, that needs to be closed off. This is an aspect I was not read up on, I have to admit. Close to a third of Treasury Minister meetings are with financial institutions and their lobbyists, which is far more than any other industry or interest group. Every single Chancellor of the Exchequer in the past 40 years has taken on a private financial role after leaving office. In order to truly level up the finance to green transition and address the country's economic inequality, we need finance to reach all regions and communities. That simply can't and won't be done by the current big banks, especially with watered down regulation. In the pandemic, despite the government's efforts to support small businesses through the big banks, excessive interest rates and unreasonable lending criteria meant the initial loan scheme, CBILS, was a failure. Small and medium-sized businesses account for 60% of private sector employment, yet they are totally underserved by the current banking system. That's not really a surprise. Evidence shows that when countries have more stakeholder banks, they do better. Germany has a network of public savings banks called Sparkassen, which is supported by a national investment bank, the KfW. The country also has a number of cooperative banks. We require new institutions to deliver finance to where it is needed, and relying on the too big to fail banks and deregulated insurance companies is misguided. Those institutions starting to appear from Southwest Mutual to Bank Cambria, supported by the Welsh Government, but they face challenges from a regulatory system designed for big banks, which could only get worse in the face of regulators panicking about the risk in the system. There are some in Labour who think we could deliver both, give the City of London what it wants, alongside a revived community banking model. But a deregulated banking sector will continually undermine an economic strategy that seeks to address the real challenges of the day: climate change, inequality and democracy. It will end up with a rerun of the 08 financial crash, but this time the stakes are even higher. Okay, that does make me worry. And the Hopium, I think, he's not gonna cover that. You know, I go by the creed of Woden, which is wisdom and knowledge, and it means that I have to look. Whether I like it or not, I have to stay vigilant. Be willing to disagree with people who I normally agree with. I think Fran Boat here from last year really, yeah, okay. I Big Madge is right there. I'm, when it comes to economics, I'm not really, too familiar. I'm becoming more familiar, but I'm not too familiar right now. So I'm having to rely on, learning from others and getting a wide base of knowledge, a wide base of sources for knowledge and wisdom. Which means, I'm going to agree with people I don't usually agree with and disagree with people that I usually agree with. I think that is isn't that part of democracy? I'm worried that, again, I'm going to go back to this because I think the Copium Hopium sort of yin yang effect here might is going to start to cause Labour real problems. You've got copiists and hopiists, and I don't know. I'm worried. I'm really worried that the effect of I wish I could have Phil's confidence in this, but I just don't. I think I want to, and there's been so long. It's been so long since the Tories have been so close to losing power over that, and I really, really just want them to lose power. I want them out. I just want them out, and given the history of the Lib Dems, I don't trust them. They might be coming out with good policies at the moment, but I don't trust them. So I'm kind of stuck. And the Green Party can they even do anything? It's all well and good those further on the left saying we'll just vote for the Green Party. Will the Green Party have enough funding and resources to actually do that? To put up MPs all across the country? I'm betting they will not. So I think it's a case of, again, so you got there's a balance. There needs to be a balance between those who, are high on copium and those who are high on hopium. They need to both come down a bit and meet each other in the middle. There also needs to be a meeting in the middle of the idealists and the realists. Because when Lib Dems, as I think Big Madge said in his video yesterday that that you look at when traditional Labour supporters would leftists would look at the Lib Dems and go, okay, your policies are looking pretty good. He says that's dangerous for Labour. I agree, but I also think that's a larger. I think there's a bigger danger for the left in this, and it's one of the reasons why the Tories keep taking fucking power, because we keep delineating, we keep disseminating, we keep splitting up. As soon as it looks like we're actually about to win, we devolve into a set of fucking arguments. I'm sick of it. I actually am sick of it. So, I would like to see Big Madge and Phil have another proper debate. Not just a half an hour one, but an hour and a half one. I want to see people on on one side of the left and the other side of the left actually come together and hash this stuff out. But no, we seem to just want to carry on bitching at each other. There seems to be this absolutism where we can't, we on the left can't form some general agreement, and the Labour Party isn't helping. You know, well, at least some of the Labour Party isn't helping. Starmer, I'm not sure I fully agree with Madge. I really do. I do think he wants to get power. Yes, I think he's saying what he needs to do to get power, but I'm not sure he's doing it for the same reasons that Boris Johnson did, for example. I really don't think that's the case. All I can go from, all I can draw from for that opinion, and it is just my opinion, is, hang on, sorry, yeah, we need to come together, because whilst the Tories, there are disparate, there are arguments within the Tory party. There's a reason why they're able. There are reasons why they're able to take power. Like I said, my opinion for Starmer draws upon from what I know of his history and what he's done, which is different to Boris Johnson. So I can't apply the same logic to Boris Johnson wanting to take power to Keir Starmer, because it's a different origin point. I'm sorry, it just is. However, I don't trust him. He wasn't my pick anyway. Lisa Nandy, Emily Thornberry, those are the kind of. But this is. I think the reason why I'm so frustrated here is that the arguments are polarizing our own side, and it's all well and good to point this stuff out, but without debate, I think without actually debating this stuff and just bleating about it on YouTube. I mean, this is exactly what I'm doing right now. What I want is more debate about this. We need to put our opinions across. We need to hash this stuff out rather than just, sticking to our opinions and letting that be that. Whilst I'm a theist, I'm not dogmatic. I'm not dogmatic in that sense. So ultimately, I think, we need to come down off of the hopium and the copium. The copiists need to, deal with reality, and the hopeists need to kind of temper their idealism. I think that's where I'm at. So, whilst I will probably still side with hopium over copium, I'm not going to be blind to the situation. Now, I'm not going to go into this with just, Starmer's an absolute ledge. He's going to fucking do everything I want him to. No. But I think hope is better than cope. It is, in general. However, it needs to be tempered with reality. and on the other side coping with loss over and over again, you need to deal with reality. So, you know, you need to come, you need to come back to reality on both sides. But the idealism on the Hopium side, it's also becoming a problem. So yeah, ultimately, at the end of this, what I want is more conversation, more debate, rather than just dogmatically sticking to one side of an argument or the other, because otherwise we on the left are just going to continue on this cycle of self-destruction and self-devolution. I know we like devolution, but really, in that sense, seems a bit fucked. Yeah, that's my my £2 for today. I do hope that we do start to talk. And Discord is a good place. If people want to challenge me on anything I've said, get hold of me on Discord. Shadow Eater, One Angry Pagan. Just get hold of me. Shout out. Just get hold of me on Discord. If you want to challenge me, I'm open for it. But I don't. This constant, I have an opinion, so I'm just gonna put it out there and and just set with the one side having an opinion, another side having an opinion, and that be that. No, because that doesn't fix anything. That doesn't solve anything. I don't see good in that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to delve into the labelist thing earlier, but it just shows it kind of illustrates my point here, So yeah, Shadow Eater, One Angry Pagan here, saying blessed are saying God bless you to all of you, and please let's open up more conversations rather than just devolving into arguments and letting the Tories back in again.